Every morning, the world greets you with silence before the noise begins. That silence is not empty, it's full of potential. It's your moment of choice, the instant when your mind decides how the rest of the day will unfold. Before the emails, before the calls, before anyone else reaches you, there's that sacred moment where your mindset writes the script for your destiny. You can either rise in power or fall into the pool of habit. The difference lies in your decision before the world even wakes. When you wake up, your mind is like soft clay, open, receptive, and ready to be molded. Whatever you feed it in those first moments becomes the shape of your day. If you start with gratitude, strength, and vision, that energy becomes your armor. If you start with doubt, distraction, and negativity, that becomes your chain. The truth is, your morning mind doesn't just set your day, it defines your direction, your focus, and ultimately your future. Your brain listens closely to your first thoughts of the day. It believes whatever story you tell it, so when you open your eyes and say, "I'm tired," you create fatigue. When you say, "I'm ready," you create energy. The body responds to the mind's commands. The mind responds to the words you choose. That's the power of the morning. It's the reset button for your emotions, your energy, and your destiny. You have to choose those first words like a warrior sharpening his blade before battle. Some people roll out of bed in reaction, others rise in intention. The difference between reacting and rising is the difference between living by default and living by design. The first group drags yesterday's problems into today's potential. The second group breathes, centers, and sets a standard for how they will show up. You can't control everything that happens around you, but you can always control the energy you bring into it. That energy begins with your first breath, your first thought, your first declaration. A powerful morning is not built on perfection. It's built on awareness. Awareness of your focus, your breath, your body, your state. When you wake up and ground yourself in clarity, you send a message to the universe that says, "I am ready." You no longer drift through your day reacting to life. You start commanding it. And that command begins in the first 10 minutes of your morning. Every leader, creator, and achiever you admire doesn't stumble into focus, they create it. They start their mornings with rituals that ignite certainty. It might be movement, meditation, prayer, or affirmations. The activity doesn't matter as much as the intention behind it. The goal is to put yourself in a peak state where your mind and body vibrate in alignment. When you master your state, you master your day. When you master your day, you master your life. Your mind is a garden. Every morning you wake up, you either plant seeds of possibility or weeds of worry. Whichever you nurture grows. You can't expect to reap peace if you're watering chaos. The key is to guard your morning like sacred ground. Don't let negativity, noise, or other people's demands invade your mental soil before your roots are strong. You are the gardener of your focus. Protect your peace as if your future depends on it, because it does. Think about it every morning. You're building momentum toward progress or procrastination. One choice leads to strength, the other to stagnation. The first hour of your day is like the rudder of a ship. It doesn't seem big, but it steers your entire direction. When you take control of your morning, you're not just managing time, you're mastering energy. And energy is the ultimate currency of success. When your morning is reactive, your day feels chaotic. When your morning is intentional, your day flows. The secret isn't to do more, but to start with clarity and emotion. Feel your vision before you chase it. Speak your strength before you need it. Create your identity before the world labels you. That's how you shift from surviving the day to shaping it. The world rewards those who live with purpose, not panic. Every time you wake up and declare who you choose to be, you create alignment between your vision and your reality. If you start with fear, you shrink. If you start with focus, you expand. The mind follows the direction of your dominant emotion, so make sure the emotion you choose in the morning is one that empowers you to rise. Let's be honest, you can't control what comes your way today. The traffic, the noise, the challenges, they're all part of life. But you can control the state you're in when you face them. You can't always choose the storm, but you can choose the captain you'll be. When your morning begins with power, every challenge becomes an opportunity to prove your strength. That's the art of living with emotional mastery. Your destiny is not written in your circumstances, it's written in your state. And your state begins with your morning. That's why every successful soul you see radiating energy isn't lucky, they're intentional. They've learned that the way you greet the day is the way the day greets you back. If you meet it with fear, it fights you. If you meet it with power, it opens doors. A strong morning mind set is not about pretending life is perfect. It's about deciding that you are powerful enough to handle whatever comes. It's about walking into your day with energy that says, no matter what happens, I will rise. That's the foundation of resilience, and it begins long before you face your first challenge. It begins in the quiet of your mind, when no one's watching. So when the alarm goes off tomorrow, don't reach for your phone, reach for your power. Sit up, breathe deep, and speak life into your day. Remind yourself that today is not a replay of yesterday. It's a blank page, and you hold the pen. Write strength, write gratitude, write purpose. Because how you write your morning is how you write your destiny. Your destiny doesn't happen someday, it begins in the first decision you make each morning. The decision to rise, to breathe, to believe, to take command of your energy. That's how champions are built. That's how visionaries are made. It's not magic, it's mindset. And your morning mindset shapes everything that follows. Every word you speak carries energy. Every sentence you repeat to yourself builds or breaks the foundation of who you believe you are. The truth is, your words aren't just sounds, they are the building blocks of your identity. They shape how you think, how you feel, and how you act. When you wake up and speak life into yourself, you begin programming your mind to follow your highest potential instead of your deepest fears. Affirmations aren't just positive phrases, they're blueprints for your becoming. From the moment you open your eyes, your subconscious mind is listening. It doesn't question, it obeys. If you say, I'm not good enough, your subconscious starts finding proof. If you say, I am powerful, it starts searching for ways to confirm that truth. The human mind is a loyal servant. It will always build whatever the master commands. That's why affirmations matter so deeply. They turn random thoughts into focused beliefs, and focused beliefs into unshakable identity. Your identity is not written in your past, it's written in your patterns, and those patterns are shaped by the words you repeat. Every affirmation is a declaration, a line drawn in the sand between who you were and who you are becoming. When you say, I am confident, you're not describing yourself, you're designing yourself. You're giving your nervous system a new direction, your emotions a new frequency, and your reality a new form. Most people think affirmations are about pretending. They're not. They're about deciding. You don't say, I am strong. To lie to yourself, you say it to remind your mind of the strength already inside you. You say it to awaken the sleeping potential that's been buried under doubt, under fear, under other people's opinions. Affirmations pull the truth out of you. They are the keys that unlock the identity you were always meant to live. Imagine your mind as fertile soil. Your words are the seeds. Every I am statement you plant grows into a result you experience. Say, I am overwhelmed, and stress blooms. Say, I am focused, and clarity grows. The soil doesn't decide, you do. The garden of your life reflects the words you've been planting in silence. If you don't like the harvest, change the seeds. Speak what you want to see until what you see matches what you speak. Affirmations are most powerful when emotion fuels them. Words without emotion are whispers. Words with passion are commands. When you say, I am unstoppable, and feel it with every fiber of your being, your physiology changes. Your shoulders lift, your breath deepens, your energy rises. You begin to embody the identity you declare, and once your body aligns with your words, the world starts aligning with your energy. The real purpose of affirmations is not to create a fake reality, it's to anchor you in truth when life tries to shake you. When challenges hit, your affirmations remind you of who you are. They become your mental armor. I am calm under pressure. I am resourceful in chaos. I am relentless in my pursuit. These aren't just phrases, they are power codes that activate resilience when the world gets loud. They train your mind to respond with strength instead of fear. The repetition of affirmations rewires the pathways of your brain. Neuroscience has proven that what we focus on expands. When you affirm something repeatedly, your brain starts building new neural connections that support that belief. Over time, those connections become your default wiring. You begin to feel confident, think decisively, act boldly not because you're forcing it, but because your identity has shifted. You become the person you've been affirming all along. Most people underestimate the power of language because they speak unconsciously. They affirm failure without realizing it. I can't do this. I'm too tired. Nothing ever works out for me. Every time those words are spoken, they reinforce a powerless identity. But when you begin to catch yourself, when you replace those old patterns with empowering declarations, you start reclaiming control over your story. You stop being a victim of your language and become the author of your life. The greatest transformation happens when your affirmations are aligned with your actions. Words alone create belief, but belief with action creates reality. You say, I am disciplined, and then you follow through. You say, I am grateful, and then you act in appreciation. That's when affirmations stop being phrases and become proof. Consistency between word and deed builds the strongest identity a human can have: authenticity. Every identity you want to create starts with a declaration. I am confident, I am healthy, I am abundant. But here's the secret: you must feel it before you see it. You must claim it before it's visible. When you say those words with conviction, your energy shifts first, your mind follows next, and your reality catches up last. That's how inner transformation becomes outer manifestation. You become before you arrive. Affirmations are like programming commands for your subconscious mind, and just like a computer, your subconscious doesn't care whether the command is positive or negative, it just runs the code. That's why you must become intentional with every word you feed it. You can reprogram years of fear, guilt, or doubt through daily repetition of truth. Speak it in the morning, speak it in the mirror. Speak it when you don't believe it, because one day, your subconscious will start believing it, and when it does, everything changes. Think of your affirmations as declarations of leadership. When you say, I am confident, you're leading yourself into courage. When you say, I am peaceful, you're leading your emotions into balance. When you say, I am loved, you're leading your heart into healing. You are both the leader and the follower of your own words. That's the divine power of language. It doesn't just describe reality, it directs it. Every I am statement is a brushstroke on the canvas of your destiny. You are painting your life with every declaration you make. You are sculpting your future with every belief you reinforce. The identity you live tomorrow depends on the affirmations you repeat today. And when your words, emotions, and actions unite, your transformation becomes inevitable. You stop chasing confidence, you become it. You stop searching for power, you embody it. Because affirmations don't just change how you think. They change who you are. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must decide whether they will keep dragging their past into their present or rise and build something new. The weight of yesterday is heavy only when you keep carrying it. The truth is, your past has no power unless you give it permission to define you. Every time you replay an old memory, you relive an old emotion. And every time you relive that emotion, you limit the energy available for your now. Freedom begins when you stop trying to fix the past and start creating the present. The present moment is the only place where life truly exists. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now, but most people live as prisoners of memory or architects of anxiety. They look back with regret or look ahead with fear, forgetting that the only place they can ever act, love, grow, or decide is here. The mind loves to wander, but the heart knows that peace only happens in presence. When you return to now, you reclaim your power. Your past was a lesson, not a life sentence. The things that hurt you were teachers, not definitions. The moments that broke you were preparing you for the strength you have today. But if you keep rereading the same chapter, you'll never step into the next. The present is waiting to write new words, but it needs your focus, your attention, your energy. You can't rewrite history, but you can redesign your destiny starting now. Every scar you carry is proof that you've survived something that once tried to destroy you. Instead of hiding your wounds, honor them. They are evidence of growth, not reminders of pain. The past does not exist to punish you, it exists to teach you who you are and what you're capable of overcoming. Once you extract the lesson, you no longer need the story. You can thank it, release it, and move forward lighter, stronger, freer. The reason most people stay stuck is that they keep giving yesterday emotional rent for free. They keep investing energy into stories that no longer serve them. They replay conversations, failures, betrayals as if reliving them will somehow change the outcome. But life doesn't move backward. Every moment you spend in regret is a moment stolen from creation. Every thought anchored in the past is a distraction from the miracle of now. The only thing you can control is what you think, feel, and do in this moment. Presence is power. It's the ability to stand fully aware in your body, your breath, your experience without judgment, without story. It's not about forgetting your past. It's about no longer being ruled by it. When you are present, you become the observer of your thoughts instead of the prisoner of them. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop fearing and start creating. In presence, you become unstoppable because you're not fighting ghosts, you're leading reality. Think of your past like a movie you've already watched. You know the ending. You know the pain. You know the lesson. Now imagine standing up from the theater seat, walking out into the sunlight, and realizing that your life is still unfolding beyond the screen. That's what presence feels like, the liberation from replay into rebirth. You don't have to erase your history to create your destiny. You just have to stop worshiping the rewind button. The past is information, not identity. You can learn from it without living in it. You can remember without relapsing. You can honor what happened without surrendering your future to it. Too many people confuse reflection with residence. They visit their past and never leave. But the true power lies in integration. Take what serves you, leave what drains you, and carry forward only wisdom. That's emotional mastery in its purest form. Presence means meeting this moment with your full attention. Feel your breath, feel your heartbeat, feel the ground beneath you. This is reality. Everything else, the regret, the resentment, the story, lives only in your mind. The mind creates illusions, but your breath brings you home. Every inhale pulls you into now. Every exhale releases what no longer belongs. That's not just breathing, that's rebirth happening one breath at a time. Your future is not born from your past, it's born from your presence. Whatever energy you bring into this moment multiplies into tomorrow. If you bring peace, you'll grow peace. If you bring gratitude, you'll attract more to be grateful for. If you bring fear, you'll keep finding reasons to worry. The seed of your next experience is always planted in your current awareness. You can't change your life by fighting what was, you change it by fully showing up for what is. When you live present, you stop chasing time. You start experiencing it. You realize that life isn't happening to you, it's unfolding through you. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Every pause becomes an invitation. Every moment becomes a chance to create meaning. The more present you become, the more alive you feel. The noise fades, the clarity sharpens, and the simple truth rises: you are enough, right here, right now. Presence doesn't mean perfection. It means participation. It means bringing your full self, your energy, your awareness, your honesty into this moment, even if you're scared, even if you're uncertain. When you give yourself fully to now, life gives itself fully to you. You stop waiting for someday and start living today. You stop wishing and start doing. You stop overthinking and start being. When you practice presence, you take the power away from regret. You no longer see the past as something to escape, but as something that shaped you. You start to see how every wrong turn brought you right where you need to be. You stop fighting what happened and start embracing what's unfolding. That's the magic of surrender, not weakness, but wisdom. The wisdom that knows your power lives in the moment you're standing in right now. Presence is where healing happens. It's where creation begins. It's where you find your strength, your clarity, your joy. The past may have built you, but the present is where you rebuild yourself. Every time you choose awareness over autopilot, gratitude over guilt, creation over control, you reclaim another piece of your power. You become the author again. You stop living in reaction and start living in alignment. So right now, take a breath, feel it fill your chest, feel it remind you that you are here, you are alive, and you are free to begin again. The past cannot follow you unless you invite it. The only story that matters is the one you're writing now. Let presence become your power, your peace, your compass, because the moment you live here, fully, fear disappears. and the future starts to take shape in your hands every break. Through begins in the mind before it shows up in reality. Every dream that's ever come true started as a picture in someone's imagination. The human mind is the most powerful creative force on the planet. It doesn't just reflect the world, it reshapes it. The life you live right now is a mirror of the images you've been holding inside. If you want to change what you see on the outside, you have to start by changing what you visualize on the inside. Because what the mind rehearses, the body performs, and what the soul believes, life delivers. Visualization is not fantasy, it's focus. It's not wishful thinking, it's mental conditioning. It's how you train your nervous system to recognize your next level before it happens. The best self doesn't appear by accident, it's sculpted in the imagination long before it's expressed in the world. When you close your eyes and see yourself as strong, confident, and capable, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's imagined and what's real. It starts wiring your body, emotions, and decisions to match that image. You begin to live from the vision, not from the limitation. The best self you can imagine is already within you. Visualization simply gives it permission to come forward. Every time you see that version in your mind's eye, the one who walks tall, speaks truth, loves deeply, and acts boldly, you are calling that identity into being. You're giving energy to your future self. The more vividly you can see it, the faster you become it. Because what you repeatedly imagine with emotion becomes inevitable. Most people visualize their fears instead of their dreams. They imagine what could go wrong, who might judge them, or how they might fail. And without realizing it, they're rehearsing defeat. Visualization works both ways. It amplifies whatever you focus on. If you keep replaying worst-case scenarios, you program your mind for hesitation and fear. But when you choose to imagine your best self in motion, confident, centered, unstoppable, you begin to overwrite the script of limitation with one of liberation. Your mind is like a movie projector, and your thoughts are the film. Every day, you play scenes of who you think you are. If those scenes are filled with doubt, you live small. If they're filled with vision, you expand. The secret is to become the director of your inner movie. Choose the scenes that inspire you. Edit out the noise of failure. Add color, sound, emotion, detail. Feel the pride of success before it happens. Feel the gratitude of fulfillment before it arrives. That feeling isn't fake, it's creation in motion. Visualization is not about pretending your problems don't exist. It's about building the emotional strength to face them with certainty. When you can see yourself winning in your mind, you create confidence that your current challenges can't destroy. You stop seeing obstacles as threats and start seeing them as training. Every time you visualize yourself rising, your brain learns that success is familiar, not foreign. And when success feels familiar, you stop running from it and start running toward it. See your best self vividly. What does that version of you look like? How do they walk, speak, breathe, love, lead? Notice the calm in their eyes, the certainty in their voice, the purpose in their presence. That version of you is not a stranger, it's your authentic self without fear. It's the you that exists beyond doubt, beyond trauma, beyond hesitation. Every time you visualize that version, you're reminding yourself that greatness was never outside of you, it was always waiting to be seen. When you see it, you begin to feel it. When you feel it, you begin to believe it. And when you believe it, you begin to act from it. That's the sequence of transformation. See, feel, believe, act. The power of visualization is that it trains your nervous system to make new behaviors natural. You stop forcing confidence, you start embodying it. You stop faking strength, you start living it. You stop chasing your best self and begin expressing it. Visualization is the art of creating evidence for your subconscious mind. The more real you make it in your imagination, the faster your brain accepts it as truth. Science proves that neurons fire the same way when you imagine an experience as when you actually live it. That means every mental rehearsal builds muscle memory for success. When you visualize clearly and repeatedly, your mind begins to guide you toward opportunities, choices, and actions that match your vision. You literally train your perception to find alignment, but visualization only works when it's done with emotion and consistency. Seeing your best self once is like planting a seed and walking away. You have to nurture it daily, water it with repetition, feed it with gratitude, protect it from negativity, make it part of your morning ritual. Before you touch your phone, touch your vision. Close your eyes and step into that future version of yourself. Feel their energy running through your veins. See yourself walking into rooms with confidence, handling challenges with calm, radiating purpose with ease. That's not imagination, that's activation. Don't just see what your best self has, see who they are. See the character behind the confidence, see the discipline behind the results, see the kindness behind the power. When you connect with that deeper identity, visualization becomes sacred. You're not chasing status, you're connecting to truth. You're remembering the greatness that's been waiting beneath your doubt. The vision becomes not something you strive for, but something you surrender to. Every time you visualize, you are sending a signal to the universe saying, "This is who I choose to be," and life responds to that signal. It begins aligning opportunities, people, and moments that resonate with your image. You start attracting situations that match your new energy. This is not coincidence, it's coherence. The outer world rearranges itself to match the inner world you've committed to believe in. When you hold that vision long enough, something extraordinary happens. Your actions start to align without effort. You begin to eat like your best self, speak like your best self, and make decisions like your best self. You stop negotiating with your limitations. You stop apologizing for your potential. You start living as the person you were always meant to be. Visualization becomes a compass, guiding you from where you are to where you're destined to go. The best self is not in the future, it's in your awareness right now. The more you visualize it, the more you awaken it. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment, it's about creating the moment through mental mastery. Every great achievement you've ever witnessed began with someone who dared to see themselves differently. So close your eyes, breathe deep, and see the version of you that already has what you desire. Because the moment you see it clearly enough, you begin to become it. Energy without action is potential without purpose. You can have the greatest vision, the most powerful affirmations, and the deepest belief, but until you move, nothing changes. Life doesn't respond to what you think, it responds to what you do. Every dream demands motion. Every goal requires commitment. Every transformation begins when you stop talking about what could be and start acting on what must be. Because action is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. You can feel all the motivation in the world, but if it doesn't translate into movement, it fades like a spark in the wind. Energy is meant to be expressed, not stored. The human spirit was built for expansion, not hesitation. That's why the moment you act, your state shifts instantly. Doubt loses its grip. Fear begins to dissolve. Momentum replaces stagnation. You were never meant to wait for the perfect conditions, you were meant to create them through motion. Action is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's the art of channeling your energy into direction instead of distraction. The world is full of people who feel inspired for a moment and then do nothing. They let the energy die in their mind instead of letting it flow through their hands. The ones who rise, the ones who build legacies, are not always the smartest or the most talented. They're simply the ones who act when inspiration strikes. They turn that inner fire into external creation. The universe doesn't reward intention, it rewards execution. The law of momentum says that once you move, everything begins to align. Opportunities appear. People show up, resources become visible, but none of that happens until you take the first step. Action activates clarity. You don't wait until you understand everything to begin, you begin, and through the process you understand. Clarity is a result, not a requirement. The more you move, the clearer you become. Every time you act, you cast a vote for the identity you're building. When you follow through on your word, you strengthen your confidence. When you procrastinate, you weaken your power. Each action tells your mind who you are. Do you want to be someone who hesitates or someone who creates? Every decision, no matter how small, reinforces one of those stories. The good news is you can rewrite the story at any moment by taking a single step forward. Action is how belief becomes truth. You can say, "I am powerful," 1,000 times, but until you act powerfully, the words are just echoes. The moment you align behavior with belief, energy transforms into reality. That's the alchemy of achievement, the process of turning invisible conviction into tangible results. You stop chasing motivation and start generating it. Because action feeds energy, and energy fuels more action. It becomes a cycle of creation instead of hesitation. Fear tries to stop you by convincing you to wait until you feel ready, but readiness is an illusion. You don't wait to feel confident, you act your way into confidence. Every small act of courage builds evidence that you're capable, and once your mind sees that evidence, fear loses its authority. The truth is, the first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. Because once you move, resistance breaks, and the world starts moving with you. Massive change doesn't happen through massive effort all at once. It happens through small, consistent, intentional actions that stack over time. Success isn't built in leaps, it's built in layers. Each act of discipline adds another brick to the foundation of greatness. Each act of consistency strengthens your self-trust. You don't need to see the entire staircase, just take the next step with absolute faith that progress is inevitable when action is constant. Action turns energy into identity. Every morning you choose to show up, you reaffirm who you are becoming. Even on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days every time you move forward, you prove to yourself that your commitment is stronger than your emotion. That's how transformation becomes permanent. You stop being controlled by how you feel and start being led by what you've decided. The secret is to fall in love with progress, not perfection. Too many people never begin because they want everything to be flawless. But perfection is paralysis disguised as ambition. Action, on the other hand, is messy, raw, real, and that's where growth happens. You learn by doing. You refine through movement. The more you act, the more feedback you receive, and the faster you evolve. The path only appears when your feet start walking. The energy you carry means nothing if it's never expressed. Inspiration without execution turns into frustration. But when you take that inspiration and turn it into daily action, something happens. You start trusting yourself again. You start believing that your vision is real because you're living it in motion. Every completed task becomes proof that your energy has purpose. That's the kind of power that builds unstoppable confidence. Action also creates emotional momentum. When you move, you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's possible. You stop analyzing your fears and start actualizing your future. Movement changes emotion. That's why the fastest way to get out of doubt, sadness, or hesitation is to do something. Lift the weight, write the paragraph, make the call. Momentum is born in motion, not in waiting for inspiration to return. Your dreams are waiting for your decisions. They are waiting for you to show the universe that you're serious. Energy without direction is chaos. Direction without action is fantasy. But when energy and action align, reality bends. The gap between who you are and who you can be begins to close. You stop talking about potential and start living it. Because action doesn't just change what's around you, it changes who you are inside. Action is the physical expression of faith. It's saying, I believe in my vision enough to move, even when I can't see the entire path. It's trusting that every step, no matter how small, is progress. That's how champions are built, not through talent, but through relentless movement. Every great achiever you've ever admired took bold, imperfect, consistent action when no one was watching. And that's what set them apart, not luck, not timing, but movement. Energy is your power, but action is your proof. The world doesn't remember what you planned, it remembers what you did. Every dream inside you is waiting for the moment you stop overthinking and start executing. The universe responds to momentum. Life rewards motion. So don't wait for courage, create it. Don't wait for permission, take it. Turn your energy into action and you'll watch your reality transform in front of your eyes, one bold step at a time.